Hello everybody, welcome to grade 12 economics. Here, depending on your comments, I try to organize some questions with the answers from chapter 1, the concept of macroeconomics, and from chapter 2 on aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So please don't forget to like, subscribe Dorii Tube channel. Hordoftoota Dorii Tube channel kan taatan baga nagaan dhuftanii kam jirtu nageenyi keenya bakka jirtanitti isin haa qaqqabu. Egaa gaaffii keessan irratti hundaa'uun haga danda'ametti gaaffilee fi deebii isaa waliin har'a isinii qabadhee dhufeen jira. Boqonnaa tokko keessaa fi boqonnaa lama keessaa. Kanaaf isin immoo Dorii Tube channel kan jedhu like, subscribe gochuu hin dagatinaani. Qormaanni kun tokkoffaa daree keessatti waan barsiisan isin barsiisaa ture irratti isin qopheessa jedhee yaada. Lammaffaa irratti immoo qormaata biyyoolessaa wajjiniin ammas isin qopheessa kan jedhu abdii guddaan qabaane. Kanaaf jalqaba irratti maal gootu isinii yaaltu umarratti immoo ani deebiin isinii deebisaa jechuudha. Question number 1. Here it is a multiple choice. Macroeconomics is the study of A. Individual consumer behavior. B. Firm level production decision. C. Aggregate economic variables and their interaction. D. Financial market and stock trading. The answer is C, because as I told you, macroeconomics is what it is, the study of the aggregate economy or the economy as a whole. So A is, it is the micro, again B is the microeconomics, D is not related with the question, therefore the exact answer is what? C. Question number 2. Which one of the following is not true about the macroeconomics? A. It focuses on the microeconomics factors. B. It analyzes the behavior of individual firms. C. It examines the economy as a whole. D. It unrelated to the government policy. The answer is again C. It examines the economy as a whole. Question number 3. Macroeconomics deals with A. Supply and demand of individual goods. B. Price determination in specific market. C. Unemployment and inflation at the national level. D. Individual household income and expenditure. The answer is again C. Unemployment and inflation is the national level. A is not answer. It is a study what supply and the demand of individual. It is not about the individual, but it is the economy as a whole. This is the microeconomics. Price determination is specific. Again, this is the micro, MI. The individual household, again, this is the micro, not the macroeconomics. Question number 4. Which one of the following is not focus area of macroeconomics? A. Economic growth. B. Balance of payment. C. Microeconomic decision making. D. Inflation. The answer is again C. Except C, all are what? The concerns of the macroeconomics. It is the focus area of the macroeconomics, but C is not. Egaa gaaffileen hundi isaaniitu hundi xiyyeeffannoo macroeconomicsiiti. Siin deebiin hin ta'u jechuudha. Siin maayikiroo'a. Siirra kan hafe hundi isaaniitu maal focus area eenyuti jechuudha? Macroeconomics. Number 5. GDP stands for A. Gross domestic product. B. Government development plan. C. General demand projection. D. Gross distribution process. The answer is A. Gross domestic product. GDP means this the gross domestic product. Question number 6. Which one of the following is included in the GDP? A. Transfer payments from government. B. Intermediate good and service. C. Underground economic activity. D. Value of final good and service produced. The answer is D. All are not the components of what? The GDP. Transfer payment from the government. This is not included in the GDP calculation. As I told you again, intermediate good not included in the GDP calculation. Underground economic activity, that means illegal economic activity, again it is not included in the GDP. What is included in the GDP is value of final good and the service produced. Wanti GDP keessa galuu qabu transfer payment mootummaan gargaarsa uummataaf kennu GDP keessa hin galu. Intermediate product tokko oomishuuf wantoota akka raw material yookaan immoo intermediate isaan jennu kun GDP keessa hin galanii yeroo darbe isinitti beeresa kan sochii dinagdee seeraan alaa warri socho'anis GDP biyyattii keessa hin galan. GDP keessa kan galu maal value of final good and the service produced isa jennu kun GDP keessa galee calculate ta'a jechuudha. Question number 7. Which one of the following is excluded from the GDP calculation? A. Government spending on public infrastructure. B. Investments in new machinery and equipment. C. Value of intermediate good used in the production. D. Income earned by foreign citizens in the country. So the answer is C. Value of intermediate goods used in production is not included in the GDP, as we already discussed. Kanaaf wanti GDP keessa hin galle government expenditure in element GDP ti, investment in akkasuma garuu value of intermediate goodiin kun immoo production keessa yookaan GDP calculation keessa hin galu jechuudha. Question number 8. GNP stands for A. Gross national product. B. General national production. C. Government net profits. D. Gross nominal price. Here the answer is A. GNP means gross national product. GNP jechuun gabaabumatti gross national product jechuudha. GNP include the GDP of the country plus A. Net income from abroad. B. Government expenditure. C. Investment in capital goods. D. Consumer spending on import. The answer is A. As you know, the formula of what's the gross national products, GNP is equal to GDP plus net factor income. Those are not included in the GDP formula. The gross national product akkamitti arganna GDP irratti eenyuudhaana net factor income idhaanitti arganna jechuudha. Question number 10. GNP measures the total A. Market value of final good and service produced. B. Market value of intermediate good produced. C. Income earned by residents of a country, both domestically and abroad. D. Value of good and service purchased by the government. The answer is what? A. So this is the simplest question. Question number 11. Which one of the following is true about GNP and GDP? A. GDP is always higher than GNP. B. GNP include income earned by the foreign residents. C. GDP include income earned by the domestic residents abroad. D. GNP is measured by countries' import and export. So the answer is what? This one. B. GNP includes the income earned by foreign residents. GNP maal dabalata? Net factor income abroad dabalata jechuudha. Kun hin dabalatuuni kan lammiileen alaa biyya alaati argatan hin dabalatuuni. Wanta biyya keessatti inni kun jechuu kooti GDP'n hin dabalatuuni. Wanta product biyyattii keessatti oomishame qofa waan hammatuuf product alarraa galu hammachuu hin danda'uuni. Question number 12. The consumer price index is used to measure the change in the dash. A. Price of all goods and services in the economy. B. Price of a specific basket of goods and services over a time. C. Unemployment rate in the economy. D. Inflation rate in the economy. The answer is B. Price of a specific basket of goods and service over a time. This is the consumer price index. Okay. Question number 13. Inflation can be calculated by comparing A. Current GDP with the previous GDP. B. Current consumer price index with the previous consumer price index. C. Current unemployment with previous unemployment. D. Current GNP with the previous GNP. The answer is what? It is B. Current consumer price index with the previous or the last year consumer price index. As you know, how you can get the inflation rate. Inflation rate is equal to current consumer price index minus the last year consumer price index over the last year consumer price index multiplied by 100. Kanaaf formula inflation rate ni beektu. Inflation rate akkamitti barbaanna? consumer price index kan bara kana yoo hir'atu consumer price index kan bara darbee irra consumer price index kan bara darbee yoo baay'atu 100 kun eenyu nuu kenna jechuudha inflation rate nuu kenna. Which one of the following is true about the consumer price index? A. It measures the average price of all goods and services produced in the economy. B. It includes only the price of goods and excludes the service. C. It used to calculate the unemployment rate. D. It based on fixed basket of goods and service. So the answer is what? D. It based on the fixed basket of the goods and the service. Using as you know the formula of what's the consumer price index. Please again remember, go back to what we already discussed. Question number 15. Unemployment refers to A. Total number of people in the economy. B. Number of people who are not actively seeking the work. C. The number of the people who are employed. D. The number of the people who are willing and able to work but cannot find the job. The answer is D, as we already defined what do we mean by the unemployment. Unemployment means the number of the people who are what? Willing and able to work but cannot find the job, known as what? Unemployment. Egaa hojii abdummaa kan jennu yeroo darbe bifa kanaatiin define goonee jirra. Ammas irra deebi'aatii nuti keessan ilaala. Structural unemployment occur and there is a temporary downturn in the business cycle. B. Job opportunities are available but workers lack necessary skill. C. Workers are laid off due to technological advancement. C. Overall level of demand in the economy is decreased. Here the answer is what? B. Structural unemployment, as we defined last time, there is when the workers become what? Lack the necessary skills, maybe which is needed by the employer or by the organization. It causes what? Unemployment, and such types of unemployment is known as structural unemployment. Yeroo darbe ilaalleela gosoota hojii abdummaa jenneeti. Kanaaf ammas duubatti deebi'aatee nuti keessan ilaala. Question number 17. Cyclical unemployment is caused by A. Change in the structure of the economy. B. Fluctuation in the business cycle. C. Seasonal variation in the employment. D. Demographic change in the labor force. The answer is B. Cyclical unemployment is caused by what? Fluctuation in the business. When the economy is what? Move up and down, it causes unemployment. Such types of unemployment is known as cyclical unemployment. Egaa hojii dhabdummaan cyclical unemployment kan jennuun kun maalirraa ka'a? Sababa ikonomiin asii fi olii fi gadi utaalu jennee yeroo darbe waliin ilaallee jirraani. Ammas isa kanarratti nuti keessan ilaalaa. Question number 18. Frictional unemployment refers to A. Unemployment caused by the mismatch between workers' skills and availability of the job. B. Unemployment caused by change in the overall level of demand in the economy. C. Unemployment caused by workers voluntarily quitting their jobs. D. Unemployment caused by technological advancement replacing the workers. So the answer is A. Frictional unemployment. As we already discussed last time, it caused by what? The mismatch between workers' skill in the economy. This causes maybe unemployment, which is known as what? Frictional unemployment. Frictional unemployment yoo jennu maal jechuudha? Kan namichi ogummaa qabuu fi wanti immoo dhaabbatichi yookaan iddoon hojii suni isa affeeru wal simachuu dadhabuudhaan maal fidaa? Hojii dhabdummaa fidaanii hojii dhabdummaan kun immoo frictional unemployment jennaanii jechuudha. Question number 90. Balance of the payment is referred to as A. Government revenue and expenditure. B. Income and expense of the household. C. Import and export of goods and service. D. Assets and liability of commercial banks. Therefore, the balance of the payment record is what? It is C. Import and export goods and services. Again, we already discussed this one. Question number 20. Current account balance of the payment include international capital flow, import good and service, income earned by the domestic residents abroad. D. Foreign direct investment. Again, the answer is what? It is B. Import good and service. Question number 20. The capital account of balance of the payment includes A. Import of goods and service. B. Income earned by the domestic residents abroad. C. International capital inflow and outflow. D. Foreign aid received by the government. The answer is C. Capital account means that is the international capital inflow and capital outflow. We already what? Again discuss this one. Please read again and again your notes in order to get more information. Capital account kan jennu garaagarummaa maalitii? Capital kara biyyatti seenu yoo irraa irratu capital gara alaatti bahuu jennee yeroo darbe waliin ilaalleerra. Question 22. A trade surplus occurs when A. Value of import exceeds the value of export. B. The value of export exceeds the value of import. C. Current account balance is negative. D. Capital account balance is positive. The answer is B. When you say the trade surplus means when the value of export exceed or greater than the value of what? Import. Trade surplus kan jennu yoo maal ta'e wanti nuti alatti erginu wanta nuti alaa galchinu yoo caale trade surplus jedha jechuudha. Question number 23. If the consumer price index in the base year is 100 and the consumer price index in the current year is 120, the inflation rate is A. 20, B. 12, C. 2%, D. 0.2%. Answer is what? A. By using of what? The inflation rate, we can calculate from this information. How you can calculate? Inflation rate is equal to the current consumer price index minus the last year consumer price index. 120 is current consumer price index minus the last year consumer price index is 100. Therefore, 120 minus 100 over 100 multiplied by 100. The result is 20. Kanaaf akkamitti argachuu formula inflation rate yaadadhaa. Consumer price index kan bara kana yoo hir'atu consumer price index kan bara darbee irra consumer price index kan bara darbee yoo baay'atu consumer price index yoo baay'atu 100. Kanaaf deebiin isaa maal ta'a? Percentage 20 ta'a jechuudha. Question number 25. If the inflation rate is negative, it refers to as A. Deflation, B. Stagflation, C. Disinflation, D. Hyperinflation. The answer is A. Again, as we already discussed it, if the price of what the product is decrease or if it is the inflation rate is negative, it is known as deflation. But if it is the positive, it is known as the inflation. Egaa inflation rate negative yoo ta'e maal agarsiisa? Deflation yookaan immoo qaala'insi jireenyaa sun hir'achuu nu agarsiisa jechuudha. Kuni gosoota inflationiiti malee maqaasaa isa biraa yookaan immoo negative positive ta'uu isaatii miti ni agarsiisa. Gosoota inflationiiti isaan kun. Question number 26. Economic growth is measured by change in A. GDP per capita over a time, B. inflation rate over a time, C, unemployment rate over a time, D, employment rate over a time. The answer is what? A, GDP per capita over a time. This is the economic growth. Economic growth maal measure goona GDP per capita measure gochuu dandeenya jechuudha. According to the classical economics, which of the following is true? A, markets are inherently efficient and self-regulating. B, government intervention is necessary to stabilize the economy. C, economic fluctuations are caused by change in the aggregate demand. D, the economy is always at full employment. The answer is A. As you know, the assumption of the classical economists, they assume that market is what? Self-regulating and it is efficient. But the other is not. There is government intervention. This is another school of thoughts. And there is also, those are not related with what? The classical economics. Egaa yaada warra kilaasikaalotaa ilaalchisee kan dhugaa hin taane kaminni isiniin jechaa jira. Kan dhugaa ta'e kaminni isiniin jechaa jira. Deebiin isaa maal ta'a? A ta'a jechuudha. Kun iskuulota biraa laallataanii warri garuu kilaasikaalii maal jedhu maarkettiin humna qabaa ofiin of sirreessuu danda'a jedhanii warra itti amananidha jechuudha. Question number 28. Neoclassical economics emphasize the importance of A, government intervention to correct market failure. Here this is, we say B, rational decision making by individual and the firms. C is the role of aggregate demand in driving the economic growth. D, needed for redistribution policy and addressing the income inequality. So the answer is what? D, or this one. The assumption of the classical economists, if you remember, is not correct. Government intervention, this is another school. Role of aggregate demand, again, this is another school. The neoclassical, again, classical do not believe in the policy raising the income inequality. So the answer is what? D. Egaa neoclassicalota laalchisee wanti isaan baay'ee irratti xiyyeeffannoo yookaan fuulleffannoo kennan isa kamidha? Rational decision making by individual. Namni maalidha? Perfectidha. Waan hunda beeka jedhanii yaadu jennee waliin discuss goonera isa kanas jechuudha. Kanaaf irra deebi'aa ilaalaa. Question number 29. Keynesian economics emphasize the role of government in A, stabilizing the economy through the fiscal policy. B, minimizing government intervention in the economy. C, letting the market force determine the level of employment. D, promoting free trade and globalization. The answer is what? A. Stabilizing the economy through the fiscal policy. This is the assumption of what? The Keynesian economics. The Keynesian, as I told you, the Keynesian economics believe in the intervention of what? The intervention of the government through the fiscal policy. This is minimizing government policy. This is not true. Letting the market force determine, again, this is not true. This is another school of thought assumption. Promoting free trade, again, this is not related with the Keynesian economics. Yaanni Keynesian economistoota maal akka ta'e ni beeknan jechuudha. Kanaaf harki mootummaa ikonomii keessa yookaan dinagdee keessa jiraachuu qaba. Imaammata fiskaal poolisii jedhamuun harka keessa galfachuu qaba jedhanii warra yaadanidha jechuudha. Kun hin taane minimum government yoo ta'e maximum harki mootummaa baay'inaan jiraachuu qaba jedhu maarkettiin ofiin of sirreessa isa jedhuus itti namananii free trade is encouraging waan jirru kun jechuudha. Question number 30. In Keynesian economics, the long run aggregate supply curve is A. Vertical, indicating that output is fixed at potential GDP. B. Horizontal, indicating that output can be expanded without inflation. C. Positively sloped, indicating that increasing the output leads to a higher price. D. Negatively sloped, indicating that increased output leads to lower the price. This is obvious what you know. For the Keynesian, the long run aggregate supply curve is what? Vertical, as I told you, which is perpendicular to the horizontal axis. Long run aggregate supply curve warra Keynesianotaaf maa'inni vertikaalidha. Kana waliin ilaallee jirra. Nuti keessan irra deebi'aa ilaalaa. Question number 31. Monetarist economics argues that government intervention in the economy should be extensive to ensure stability and equity, minimal to allow the market force to determine the outcome, focus on the redistributing the wealthy and the income, D. Directed towards to controlling international trade. So the answer is what? A. This is the monetarist school of thought assumption. Again, this is from your notes. Please go back and read. The monetarist economists argue that the economy is generally A. Self-correcting and tend toward the equilibrium. B. Prone to persistent imbalance and requires extensive government intervention. C. Driven by the external shocks and unpredictable events. D. Determined by long-term structural factors and technological progress. So again, this is the answer. A. Similar to that of what? The classical. Question number 33. New classical economists argue that government intervention in the economy should be A. Extensive to ensure stability and equity. B. Focused on redistribution of wealthy and the income. C. Minimal to allow the market force to determine the outcome. D. Directed towards to controlling international trade. The answer is what? C. Similar to that of classical and neoclassical, they believe that the hand of the government in the economic intervention must be minimal, and the market force has a power to determine any outcome. This is what the new Keynesian economists believe. Egaa akkuma warra classically akkasumas new classicaliinis immoo harki mootummaa xiqqaa ta'uu qaba. Gabaan ofiin of sirreessitii humna qabdii kan jedhudha. New classical economists believe that a government intervention is necessary to stabilize the economy. Economic fluctuations are caused by change in aggregate supply. Rational expectation plays a crucial role in the economic decision making. The economy is always at full employment in the long run. The answer is C. Rational expectation. They assume that an individual is rational. He or she maybe knows what will going to happen in the economy in the near future. So this is their beliefs. Kana warri new classicalota ammas maayinni yaadni isaanii namni perfectiya. Ilmi namaa perfectiya jedhanii yaadu. Warra akkuma warra eenyuti classically akkasumas neo classically yaada kana qabatanii deemu jechuudha. Question number 35. What does Say's law states in the classical economics? A. Supply creates its own demand. B. Government spending driving economic growth. C. Demand created its own supply. D. Investment drive economic expansion. The answer is what? A. They assume that supply creates its own demand according to the Say's law. Akka Say's law kanatti akka yookaan immoo akka seera Say's jedhutti supplying demandii ofii maal gochuu ni danda'a, create gochuu ni danda'a kan jedhu qabu. Who are some key proponents of classical economics? A. Adam Smith and David Ricardo. B. David Ricardo and Thomas Malthus. C. John Stuart, Keynes and Frederick Hayek. D. Milton Friedman and Paul Samuelson. The answer is what? A. The classical economics proponents or advocates are Adam Smith and David Ricardo. Egaa warri classical economistoota yaada sana jajjabeessan yookaan immoo warri gaggeessaa turan eenyunni Adam Smith fi Ricardo jechuudha. Which measure express GDP per person used to compare living standard between countries? A. Nominal GDP. B. GDP deflator. C. Real GDP. D. GDP per capita. The answer is what? Per capita GDP, which used to express GDP per person used to compare living standard between countries. Okay, question number 38. Currency appreciation refers to A. Increase in the value of country's currency. B. Decrease in the value of country's currency. C. Stability of country's currency. D. No change in the value of country's currency. The answer is what? A. Currency appreciation means increase in the value of country's currency. Appreciation jechuun qarshii biyya tokkoo haamilee akka isheen humna qabattu jajjabeessuu jechuudhani. Yeroo kana immoo vaaliyuun qarshii biyya sanaa maal ta'a? Ol ka'a jechuudha. Question number 39. Currency depreciation refers to an increase in the value of country's currency, decrease in the value of country's currency, the stability of country's currency. The answer is what? It is B. Currency depreciation refers to what? Decrease in the value of country's currency. Question number 40. In which phase of the business cycle is the economic activity is the highest? A. Expansion. B. Peak. C. Contraction. D. Trough. The answer is B. When the economy is highest means it implies that the peak or the boom economy reach the maximum point. Kanaaf business cycle keessatti highest economy yoo jiraate maximum isaa sun top irratti maalloo agarsiisa. Peakii yookaan immoo boomii jennee baranneerra. Part 1. Which of the following is the characteristic of recession? A. High inflation rates. B. Declining consumer confidence. C. Increasing GDP growth. D. Expansionary monetary policy. Answer is what? B. During recession, there is no high inflation. It's not true. Economy is not growth. Again, there is no this policy, but the consumer confidence is what? Become decline. Consumption is decreasing during what? The economy recession, or when the economy starts to decline. Yeroo recession economy gadi kufuu yeroo eegalu qalawinsis hin jiru, economy guddinnis hin jiru, poolisiin kunis hin jiru. Konsuumeroonni konfidensii dhabaa dhufu. Dimaandiin isaanii maal ta'a? Xiqqaachaa waan dhufeef jechuudha. Kanaaf deebiin isaa maal ta'a? B ta'a jechuudha. 42. Which phase of the business cycle is characterized as the period of the economic activity decline? A. Expansion. B. Peak. C. Contraction. D. Trough. The answer is C. Contraction or recession. That means is a business cycle which character a period of the economic activity of this decline. It shows what? Contraction. The economy starts to decline. Business cycle irratti sochiin dinagdee kamiyyuu kufuu yeroo eegalu maal jennaani? Contraction yookaan immoo recession jennaani jechuudha. 43. In which phase of the business cycle does the economy reach it is the lowest point before starting to recover? A. Expansion. B. Peak. C. Contraction. D. Trough. The lowest point of the business cycle is known as what? Is the trough. When the economy reaches the minimum point, it is known as the trough. Question number 44. GNP is equal to A. GDP minus depreciation. B. GDP divided by depreciation. C. GDP plus depreciation. D. GDP plus net factor income. The answer is D. This is obvious what you know. The formula of what? The gross national product is equal to GDP plus net factor income. Here this is workout part. Again, this is maybe helps you in order to prepare yourself for the national exam. So please listen carefully when we do this work. What is the given? Here is personal consumption expenditure is given, net investment is given, government expenditure is given, export is given, import is given, income received by a citizen, income inflow here, income prepaid, income outflow is also given. Based on those information, you are asked to answer question number 1, GDP by the expenditure approach, GNP by the expenditure approach. You know that we can calculate the GDP or GNP in 3 ways. The first one is value added approach, the second is expenditure approach, and the third is income approach. Therefore, you are asked to calculate from the 3 approaches the expenditure approach, and you know how you can calculate the GDP in the expenditure approach. In order to save our time, let we do together this question. Egaa informationiin asitti isinii kenname bifa teebilii kanaatiini. Gaaffileen akkanaa kun maaliif isin qopheessaa qormaata biyyoolessaatiin. Fuuldura darbanii beekuun nama miidhu. Tarii kitaabarra jiraachuu dhiisuu danda'a. Dabalataan irra darbanii beekuun immoo nama fayyada malee nama miidhu. Kanaaf gaaffilee akkasii itti dabalee isinii baasee jira. Viidiyoo irrattis immoo isin barsiisee jira. Kitaaba keessan irratti tiyooriidhaan ol kaa'ee jira. Kaalkuleeshiniidhaan ol keenya. Tarii immoo qormaata biyyoolessaa irratti maal gochuu danda'a? Isin gaafachuu waan danda'uuf bifa kanaatiin nuti dursinee yoo beekne qormaata irratti hin miidhamnu. Kanaaf seeraan hordofaa yeroo waliin hojjennu. Gaaffiin isin gaafatamtu ammaa inni GDP expenditure approach fi GNP expenditure approachyaan calculate gochisiin jechaa jira. GDP immoo akkamitti akka calculate gootan ni beektu. GDP is equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net export. Net export jechuun immoo exportii fi importii walirraa argachuu. Baay'ee salphaa gaaffiin isaa. GNP akkamitti argattu? GDP irratti net factor income idaatu. Net factor income keessan kanooti. Inflow isa kana, income immoo outflow isa kana walirraa argachuuni net factor argattuuni. GDP kanaa ol warra kanaa ol jiran informationii kana walitti hidhatanii GDP argattu. Okay, what is the given? Consumption is given, investment is given, government expenditure is also given. Net export is here, also export is given, import is given. Therefore, when you subtract export from import, the export value is 500, the import value is 750. Therefore, net export is equal to negative 250. Next, factor income. Net factor income means the difference between income inflow minus income outflow, or income received minus income paid. Income received is 800, income paid is 500, therefore the difference is 300. Now it is easy to what? Easy to calculate the GDP. How you can calculate the GDP? Consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net export. Here we have consumption, investment, government expenditure, again net export. Therefore, when you add those numbers, you can get what? The GDP, which is equal to 60,850. The GDP. You can get the GNP, gross national product, means simply it is GDP plus net factor income. We already calculated the GDP here, 60,850. Net factor income here it is 300. So when you add those numbers, you can get the value of what? The GNP, gross national product, which is 70,150. So this is easy how you can calculate the gross national product and the gross domestic product. The second workout here is how you can calculate the nominal GDP and real GDP. The base year is given 2000. The next year is 2001. and there is two products, that is the loaf of bread and the automobile, which are produced in 2 years. The loaf of bread in 2000, its quantity is 500,000. Unit price, the price of one bread is, let we say it is $10. And the amount of the automobile, the car, its quantity is, the number of the car is 100, and the price of one car is 800,000. In 2001, the loaf of the bread is, the quantity of the loaf of bread is 400,000, and its price is 20 per unit. The automobile number, here it is, its quantity is 120, and its price is 1 million. Depending on these facts, you are asked to answer the following question. Using 2000 as the base year, compute the following statistics for each year: nominal GDP, real GDP, GDP deflator, percentage of price increase or decrease, that means the inflation. So we already calculate such types of the calculation, the question in the last time, what we already discussed in the, I think it is the second or the third video. So please remember this question again. Egaa kun workoutii isa lammaffaadha. Waa'ee nominal GDP, real GDP nu gaafachuu dhufeera. Yeroo darbe hojjenne irra waliin viidiyoo darbe irratti jechuudha. Isuma gaaffii biraatiin isinii beekuufi malee wanta addaan jiru kunis isin fayyadaanii yoo hojjettan. Informationii kanarratti hundoofnee maal hojjennaa asitti baay'ina beezi yiriin keenya ka'umsi keenya 2002 bara 2002 ka'umsa keenya taanee kan jiru immoo 2001. Kanaaf piroodaaktii lamatu oomishama: bireedii fi automoobilii yookaan daabboo fi konkolaataa. Baay'inni daabboo 2000 keessa kwantitiin isaa 500, gatiin tokkoon isaa immoo qarshii 10. Automoobilii yookaan kaariin immoo baay'inni ishii meeqa? 100. Gatiin konkolaataa tokkoo immoo 800. Bara 2001 keessa bireedii baay'inni isaa 400, gatiin tokkoon isaa immoo 20. Automoobiliin bara 2001 keessa baay'inni ishii 120, gatiin tokkoon konkolaataa kanaa immoo miliyoona 1. Kanaaf amma eenyuun nominal GDP fi real GDP akkasumas GDP deflationary percentage price change yookaan immoo increase or decrease isa jedhu inflation yookaan qaala'insa kana calculate goisiin jechaa jira. Kunis baay'ee salphaadha. Akkuma kanaan dura waliin hojjenne sanatti hojjettuuni wanti addaan jiru nominal GDP gatii maal gootu? Gatii baay'ina daabboo gatii isaatiin baay'istanii yoo ida'amu baay'ina konkolaataa gatii isaatiin kan bara kana ni hojjennaan. Bara 2000 ni hojjennaa. Real GDPs akkasumatti hin hojjettu. Baay'ina daabboo gatii isaatiin hin baay'istu, yoo ida'amu baay'ina konkolaataa gatii isaatiin baay'istu walirratti taatu real GDPs akkasumatti argattu. Kan bara kanas akkasumatti argannaa jechuudha. Baay'ina bireedii yookaan daabboo kan bara 2001 meeqa? Baay'inni isaa 400, gatiin isaa immoo 20. Nominal GDP argachuuf waliin baay'istu yoo ida'amu gatiin baay'inni konkolaataa meeqa? 120. Tokkoon ishii meeqa? Miliyoona 1 waan ta'eef kanaan baay'istu lakkoofsota kanarratti daatu jechuudha. Real GDP garuu akkasitti mitiin. real GDP akkam gootu quantity kan bara 2001 base year price itiin baay'istu 400 qarshii 10 yookaan doolaara 10 baay'istu yoo ida'amu han konkolaatas akkasuma baay'inni konkolaataa meeqaa 120 gatiin base year isaa immoo price isaa meeqaa 800 jechuudha 120 800 baay'istu real GDP akkasiin argattu jechuudha. Let we see. How you can get the nominal GDP. As I told you, the nominal GDP in 2000, the loaf of bread is, the quantity is 500 times 10, 500 times 10 plus the automobile number, quantity of the automobile is 100 times its price, 100 times 800,000, then you can get what? The nominal GDP in 2000 is around 85 million. Again, another question is real GDP. How you can get the real GDP? Similar to the nominal one. For the base year, there is no difference between nominal GDP and the real GDP. It is the same for the base year. Again, real GDP is equal to 85 million. What is the second? Nominal GDP in 2001. Here for the 2001, the quantity of the bread is 400,000 times its price 20, not 200, I'm sorry, 20 plus the quantity of the automobile is 120 times the price of the automobile is 1 million. Therefore, the nominal GDP in 2001 is 200 million. Real GDP for 2001, real GDP 2001 is equal to the quantity of 2001 for the bread, it is 400 multiplied by the base year, not by the 20 taken on this. For the real GDP, the price is fixed. For 400,000 multiplied by 10 plus the quantity of the automobile in 2001, 120, and it is the base year price is fixed, which is around 800,000. Then you can get what? The real GDP in 2001, which is equal to 100 million. Therefore, this is how you can calculate what? The nominal GDP and the real GDP. Next to this one, we are going to calculate the GDP deflator. How you can calculate the GDP deflator? GDP deflator for the 2000, which is equal to nominal GDP divided by real GDP multiplied by 100, then you can get GDP deflator. This is the formula of what? GDP deflator. GDP deflator is equal to nominal GDP divided by real GDP multiplied by 100. So we already have the nominal GDP and the real GDP in 2000. This is the nominal GDP and this is the real GDP in 2000. So when you divide this number, 85 in the base year, the nominal GDP and the real GDP is what? It is equal. Therefore, 85 million over 85 million multiplied by 100, which is equal to 100. For the 2001 GDP deflator, 2001 is equal to the nominal GDP in 2001, it is 200 million, and the real GDP in 2001 is 100 million. Therefore, when you divide 200 million by 100 million multiplied by 100, then you can get the GDP deflator in 2001, which is equal to 200. Now, the last question is how you can calculate the inflation. It is easy to calculate the inflation now, since we get what? The GDP deflator. The inflation rate is the difference between the 2 years of the GDP deflator, that is the GDP deflator in 2001 minus the GDP deflator in 2000, which is 100, over the GDP deflator in 2000, which is 100, multiplied by 100 is equal to 100. Therefore, the inflation rate in 2001 is around 100%. This is how you can calculate the nominal GDP, real GDP, GDP deflator, and the inflation rates. This is all about the question that we maybe understand from chapter 1 and chapter 2. So it is better to stop on this one. Thank you for today. See you next.